Hi folks, today's video is a wrap up of what I read in October and into November. So started off with a book that I have been anticipating for years, and that is The Book of Dust. The first book of The Book of Dust, La Belle Sauvage. I absolutely love this. Just being back in that world was delightful. If you don't know, this book is kind of a prequel to his Dark Materials, and I didn't really know what to expect going into it. I thought that it was going to be more of short stories, but it read like a novel, and we follow one character for most of it, called Malcolm. And I don't want to give too much away in case you haven't read it, or in case you haven't read his Dark Materials, but just being immersed back in that world, just you're thrown in the deep end like you are with his Dark Materials, which is wonderful. And if you hadn't read his Dark Materials, I think you could still go into this and you could get a lot out of it. I think that you're going to get a lot more from it if you have read them, just because there's that nostalgia factor, and also you'll be familiar with the world as a whole, and a lot of the references will make more sense. The only complaint I had about this book was that the ending was quite abrupt, and I know that this is the first of 3 books. I'm not sure exactly when the next one is coming out, but I am eagerly awaiting it already, and I think it's one that I'll read a couple of times. I listened to the audiobook, which is superb. It's read by Michael Sheen, who just is an amazing voice actor. He's an amazing actor, full stop. So, the next book I read, it was also a children's book, probably same kind of audience as his Dark Materials. It's by Frances Hardinge, A Skin Full of Shadows. Which I also really enjoyed. I think I'm just in the mood for children's literature at the moment, which is strange. I haven't been in that kind of mood for a while, so it's really nice. But what I like about Frances Hardinge is that she writes on many different levels, so I think you can enjoy it as a child, but you're going to get different things from it as an adult as well, and that's what I found with The Lie Tree, and no exception with this book. And so if you like his Dark Materials, if you liked The Lie Tree, you're probably going to really enjoy this as well. It's about a girl called Makepeace. Great name. Frances Hardinge has superb names for her characters. Makepeace can see and hear ghosts, and that's what a large part of the story is based upon. So I went into this book completely blind. I didn't know anything about it. I just knew that it was by Frances Hardinge and it had the most stunning cover. And I listened to that one as an audiobook as well. The narrator's very good. In fact, I think all of these were audiobooks, because I have no physical copies of things to show you, I'm sorry. But the next one I listened to was an advanced copy of Artemis by Andy Weir, who wrote The Martian. So thank you, Audible, for providing me with an advanced copy of the audiobook. And I think that listening to this on audio is definitely the way to go. It's very well narrated, well paced. Likewise with The Martian, it's that kind of almost journalistic or diary-like reading, and it really suits this format very well. So this is based on the moon. I didn't know anything about this going into it, apart from that it was sci-fi. And sci-fi is one of these things that I don't seek out usually, but whenever I do read it, I really enjoy it. Maybe it's just because I read the sci-fi that is more hyped or more celebrated, I guess. But yeah, I did really enjoy this. It's set on the moon, and our main character is a bit of a rogue. It was a good fun read. Lots of similarities to The Martian in many ways. So if you like The Martian, I think you'll really like this as well. And if you haven't read The Martian, then give this a go. It's a good fun listen or read. And then we have another children's book. So this is the book that has been very hyped recently. Of course, calling it the next Harry Potter, which I really think publishers should stop doing. But this was very good. It's not Harry Potter, but it did give me Harry Potter-like feelings, that sort of took me back to that feeling of reading a book like Harry Potter for the first time, because you're discovering this world, you're sort of thrown in the deep end like the main character, and yeah, it was a really delightful, fun read, and had a lot of depth to it as well. Lots of similarities and references to other fantasy novels and other children's literature, which I really enjoyed. Yeah, lots of little things that you could just pick up and go, oh yes, I like the way that character is named. Just little snippets like that. Yeah, names of characters, names of things as well, and names of places. Quite clever, I thought. So this is the story of Morrigan Crow, who is a cursed child, and like all cursed children, she knows that she will die on Eventide night. And her family are not very supportive of her. They're not great people. And then she falls into some adventures, and I don't want to give too much away because finding out how it all happens is kind of the delight of it. So again, I didn't know much about this before I went into it. In fact, I knew nothing about it. I just knew that it was being called the new Harry Potter. Also that it's narrated by Gemma Whelan, who is the actress who plays Yara Greyjoy in Game of Thrones. So she is a great narrator. So highly recommend the audiobook for this. It's a great read, really fun. Following that, I kind of had to just go back and listen to Harry Potter because, like I said, I'm in the mood to read children's literature, and it's been a couple of years now since I reread the series, so it felt like the right time. So that's what I'm reading at the moment, and I have a sneaking suspicion that that might take up quite a bit of November rereading those, but you know, it just has to be done. Anyway, those are the books that I've read in the last month and a bit. If you have read any of these, or if you are interested in reading any of these, please feel free to ask any questions or comment down below. I'd love to discuss what you thought about any of these. Generally pretty positive about all of the books that I've read recently, so that's a great feeling. As always, thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!